Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that many friends over 70 are concerned about: how to effectively maintain and even rebuild muscles in old age. And let's start with a protagonist that sounds a bit exciting. There's a kind of food that, by dry weight, has a protein content much higher than that of eggs, sometimes reaching several times, or even nearly 10 times that of eggs. It sounds like advertising copy, doesn't it? But there's a scientific logic behind this. To combat sarcopenia, the key is to ensure adequate and high-quality protein intake, combined with appropriate strength training and lifestyle adjustments. Today, I'll explain these practical tips to you in plain language, helping you turn exaggerated titles into practical and feasible action and diet plans. Remember to subscribe and like, so you won't miss a very useful channel. We'll delve into more daily foods and drinks that can quietly improve your health from the inside out. Let's first explain why muscle loss is more likely to occur after the age of 70. As one ages, the body's response to protein synthesis becomes sluggish, meaning that the muscle's response to amino acids declines. At the same time, reduced activity levels, changes in hormone levels, chronic inflammation, or long-term diseases all make muscles more prone to consumption. The result is weakness when walking, easy falls, and a decline in quality of life. So taking protein supplements is not just for getting big, but to maintain mobility, live independently, and achieve better health outcomes. What exactly is that kind of food whose protein content is several times that of eggs? Here, it is important to clarify a key concept. What we often compare is how much protein is contained in every 100 grams of food. Fresh eggs contain a lot of water. Each 100 grams of eggs, approximately, have a single-digit amount of protein. Some dehydrated foods, such as whey or plant protein isolates, protein powder, spirulina powder, and various dry powder high-protein products, can have a much higher protein content. This is like removing the water and the nutrients being concentrated. Naturally, there will be much more protein by weight. So the 10 times in the title usually holds true only when it is compared by dry weight or by powder form, rather than when you directly compare a plate of fresh eggs with a plate of fresh vegetables. Knowing this can help you neither be intimidated by gimmicks nor make smart use of these high-concentration protein resources. Now let's talk about the practical operation. As a friend over 70, how much protein do you need in a day? Although everyone's situation is different, a common suggestion is to set the daily protein target at 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Some may need a higher target, such as 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram, during recovery or when muscle loss is severe. For example, for a person weighing 60 kilograms, the goal might be 60 to 72 grams of protein per day. Divided into 3 meals, each meal should contain approximately 20 grams of high-quality protein, and it is best to distribute it throughout each meal. The key is to provide sufficient and balanced protein at each meal, because the ability of the elderly to absorb and synthesize protein at one time is limited. It is less effective to pile up a lot of protein in one meal than to separate them. So how can highly concentrated protein help meet the standards? Here are a few safe and easy-to-operate ways. For breakfast, you can add a spoonful of high-quality protein powder, whey or plant protein, to milk or soy milk, and pair it with whole wheat bread and eggs or tofu. Lunch and dinner mainly consist of fish, chicken breast, lean beef or soy products, along with a serving of vegetables and an appropriate amount of staple food. If you feel weak or have a poor appetite between meals, you can have a serving of high-protein yogurt, nuts with a handful of dried fruits, or a cup of protein shake as a supplement. Important note: when using protein powder or concentrated protein, it is advisable to choose reputable brands and take the dosage as per the instructions. If you have any kidney function issues, please discuss them with your doctor first. In terms of training, proteins are only utilized more effectively when muscles are stimulated. For people over 70 years old, strength training does not mean lifting overweight barbells, but rather exercises that focus on joint safety and controllable intensity. Sit-to-stand training, straight leg raises, small dumbbell or resistance band exercises, and going up and down stairs or slopes are all good choices. The weekly goal is to do 2 to 3 moderate intensity resistance training sessions, covering the main muscle groups each time. Combined with a moderate amount of daily activity, walking, housework, it can convert protein into real muscle strength. Before starting any new training program, it is essential to conduct a health assessment first, especially for those with heart disease, high blood pressure, or osteoporosis. It is important to follow the advice of a doctor or rehabilitation therapist. When it comes to what to eat that is more conducive to muscle synthesis, give priority to foods rich in essential amino acids, especially those with high leucine content. Animal proteins, fish, meat, eggs, and milk usually have a more complete amino acid profile. Plant-based proteins, such as soybeans, quinoa, and legumes, are also very valuable, especially when they are properly combined. For elderly people with poor appetite or difficulty in chewing and swallowing, protein shakes, plain yogurt, egg custard, and mashed tofu are excellent alternative options. Don't overlook the role of vitamin D, calcium, and antioxidant nutrients, as they indirectly support muscle function and bone health. Let's make how to use this food more down to earth. If you choose to use high-protein powder as an aid, just add a small spoonful or 1.5 spoonfuls of milk or soy milk each time, and drink it 30 to 60 minutes after breakfast or training. It's both convenient and can quickly make up for the protein target of that meal. For instance, a spoonful of protein powder, containing approximately 20 to 25 grams of protein, depending on the brand, along with a glass of milk and a banana, makes a great post-training recovery meal. If you are concerned about the burden on your kidneys, don't add a large amount of powder at one time. It will be milder and safer to disperse your daily protein intake across different meals. Here are a few points I'd like to remind you of regarding safety and common misunderstandings. First, don't think that the more protein you consume, the better. Extremely high protein and long-term unbalanced diets pose risks to some people, especially those with low kidney function. Second, the 10 times in advertising slogans is often the result of comparing dehydrated powder with fresh food, not suggesting that you can simply consume a small amount of powder to replace a balanced diet. Third, protein supplementation should be given equal weight to whole foods. Vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and an appropriate amount of carbohydrates are all supporting roles needed for restoring and maintaining muscle function. Fourth, any supplements should be selected from reliable sources to prevent the risk of heavy metals or impurities. If any discomfort occurs, stop taking them and consult a professional. Let's specifically talk about the menu samples that can be operated on a daily basis. For breakfast, you can choose milk plus 1 spoonful of protein powder plus cereal, or soy milk plus eggs plus whole wheat toast. For lunch, have fish or chicken with mixed grain rice and vegetables. For dinner, have tofu or lean meat with vegetables. If you feel tired between meals, add a serving of yogurt or a few slices of cheese. Don't forget to drink an appropriate amount of water and maintain small-scale weight-bearing activities, such as doing simple arm exercises with water bottles and using stairs instead of elevators, which are all helpful. The psychological and habitual aspects are also very important. Many friends over 70 think, "I'm too old to exercise." In fact, as long as you start with 1 or 2 controllable and effective small things every day, such as doing 10 minutes of lower limb exercises every day, increasing the protein content in your lunch by 10%, and adding a serving of yogurt to your breakfast, you will see the difference over time. Set achievable small goals, such as increasing your stride volume in 2 months or increasing the number of resistance attempts by 1 or 2 times. The sense of success will help you keep going. Finally, here are a few simple reminders. If you are taking medication or have a history of chronic diseases, especially kidney disease or severe cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, be sure to consult your attending doctor before adjusting your protein intake or starting strength training. When choosing protein powder or concentrated products, carefully read the ingredient list to avoid excessive sugar or unnecessary additives. Combining nutrition, training, lifestyle, merely supplementing with a so-called ultra-high protein food cannot magically restore your muscles to their youthful state. However, as part of a reasonable strategy, it can significantly increase the probability of maintaining strength and autonomy at home. To sum up in one sentence to help you remember the core, for people over 70, muscle building is not achieved through overnight rich magic foods, but through continuous high-quality protein intake. High-concentration protein can be used as a tool. Regular resistance training, sufficient activity levels, and comprehensive health management. Treat foods that may contain extremely high protein as your assistance rather than a panacea. Take it step by step, and you will notice a recovery in your physical strength and confidence in many details of life. Wish you good health. Let's get moving. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you won't miss the next video. We'll delve into more daily foods that can quietly improve your health from the inside out.